Conversations with Craig and Kobie.
Welcome to another impactful episode of
Conversations with Craig and Kobie.
I'm Craig King.
I am Kobie the Wiz, and here we are again.
Here we are again.
So those of you who have not seen any of our episodes, this is Conversations with Craig and Kobie, or heard any of our podcasts. This is a podcast and YouTube channel, and we are just really having authentic conversations about stuff. What kind of makes this podcast a little different is that we don't have really an agenda. We have a topic and we have a timer. Like, those are the two things that we have. So none of our conversations are ever going to go over 40 minutes once we start the conversation. So this introduction part is not part of our 40 minutes. But once we start the conversation is 40 minutes. Wherever we end up at the end of it is where we end up. And the whole point is that you all see really the magic that happens in the conversation on the other side. So when you really are kind of present and feel free to kind of let the conversation go wherever it goes.
Right. Before we start the timer, shout out to Spike Lee, 40 Acres and a Mule Filmworks. That's what I'm rocking today with my comfortable Nike shoes.
Yeah, so this people, for the folks on the car side, so this is a piece that we call What Are You Wearing? So we understand that the folks on the YouTube channel, they can see us, but on the podcast, you guys cannot see what we are wearing. So we just kind of give you an idea just so you can create a picture. So I have on a orange sweater. I have my Kobie the Wiz hat facing backwards. I got on some jeans and rocking my super comfortable fives. I'm gonna be on here one of these times with just no shoes on. I'm just gonna rock the socks.
You rocking the shoes of the GOAT.
Yeah.
And you got a problem with that, come see me, the GOAT.
So that's what we're wearing. That way it gives you just the idea to be able to paint a picture. We're both sitting on the couches. If you, But
where are we, Kobie?
We are, shout out to Kingdom Culture in the building.
Shantae Darby.
Let's go. He is the mad, I guess, producer, filmer,
everything
of all of this. That wonderful jingle that you heard at the beginning. We came up with it, but he played it and mastered it and got it all right. So
let's go.
So let's talk, man. So the topic is starting to win, and the timer starts now. So we got 40 minutes. Here we go.
So, start to win. Mm-hmm. There have been so many times where I started something, but I didn't put myself in a position to win what I started. Mm-hmm. But this podcast is one of those things where it happened, mm-hmm. and we started it.
Right.
And we're winning in the process of it.
So I guess you gotta define what winning, and when you say start to win, so to everything there must be a beginning. Right. And so often it's the start that stops us. Right. Mm-hmm. So we're like, okay, well, I gotta have everything planned, I gotta do. And so in preparing, you actually end up, you push yourself out. Right.
Yeah.
So because you try to figure out so much stuff, and you try to get everything right. And so part of this was not worrying about getting it right, but just getting it done.
Yeah. Because the way we wanted it to flow, mm-hmm. everything, there wasn't much we had to do outside of calling Shantae to see if we could make this happen here at the studio, mm-hmm. coming up with topics, mm-hmm. because there wasn't a lot of logistical stuff we really needed to do to start, mm-hmm. and to win, because we're the audio and the video and all that stuff, we are trusting that to him.
Right.
That's not our lane.
That ain't our responsibility.
Our sole responsibility is to have a conversation.
To have a conversation. Right. So
that we've never had before.
Right. So
But go ahead.
Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, so the podcast, our main responsibility is to have a conversation, right? Mm-hmm. But what if it's a project you need to start that is not that simple?
So planning is, so that's what I want y'all to understand. Like planning is a piece and a part of everything. Like I don't want them to just think like, oh yeah, these they just out here.
Craig and Kobie just do whatever they want.
No. Yeah, they just out here. You know what I'm saying? No, like it was intentional. Like I got some other stuff that keeps, like there's some other stuff that I got coming. Yeah, I mean, like
you and me both.
Yeah. that we're getting that is not as simple. So, this is easier because there isn't a designated script. But I got some stuff that's getting ready to come that I gotta like script out. You know what I mean? And I'm not really excited about that because
sounds like some mud to me.
Yeah, man.
Not to go backwards, but it sounds like some mud, Kobie.
Man.
Sometimes it's hard to start in mud.
Bruh, listen, man.
So we're not gonna go backwards.
So I gotta do that, and it's something I've never done, right? So what if you're starting to do something, right, that you've never done before?
Yeah.
So there's this anxiety, like I've done it, but I've never done it like this. So learn your lessons with Kobie the Wiz, this teaching piece that I'm getting ready to kick off. Like, I gotta script it because oftentimes that's a timepiece too, right? But then there's other things, whatever you're starting, whether it is a project, whether it is a process, whether it is, you might be starting a new job. Like, how do you start it to win, to make sure that you're going to win, understanding what you want it to be. So I think part of the things of starting to win is understanding that once you start, being clear on kind of what you want to get out of it.
Yeah. You know what this podcast has done for me?
What's it done for you?
Being that it was something that the requirement of Craig was or is to have a conversation. And that is my contribution to make sure this is successful, right?
Right.
Marketing and all that stuff will come. But my main responsibility, it has created a small win for me. And this is something that my wife and I, we talk about making sure that we have small wins within our marriage, within our family. Sanaya experiences small wins because those small wins builds confidence in the next project. And so going to your point about you're about to do something that requires some things of you that you've never done before. Having something like this podcast that creates a small win and it builds that confidence, it builds your ability in yourself, that belief you have in yourself.
Right.
Because you believe it, you can do it,
if
right?
You believe it, right?
Right. And so I think for me, those other projects that I know that are coming down the road, this is helping build confidence. So
yes,
we put ourselves in a place to win with this podcast, but the things that are coming later for me, I can pull on, Craig, look at what you just accomplished.
Right, because we've never done this before.
We never done this before. I never done a podcast.
Me either. Right, and so that whole part, like to do some things you've never done before, you're gonna have to do some things you've never done before. You know what I mean? Like, is that simple? And so just going into that, being clear about that, I think really kind of sets you up where the success that you want to see can show up.
Dude, do you remember when we came and looked at this space? The day we came and looked at the space, and Shantae was showing us around.
Kingdom culture.
And that moment coupled with when I got here, that first day we started recording, and I just had a moment where I was trying to explain to Shantae what I was feeling, and he'll tell you that I couldn't really get it out because I couldn't believe we were here.
Right.
And you remember what I said? I was like, we're winning. We're doing it. We are actually doing the podcast. We're not talking about it. We're not trying to plan out every little bit. We're not doing it. Like we are. Didn't I say it? I was like, we are doing it. And so it's building this quiet confidence in the next few projects that I know are going to require more. But so many of those projects have everything to do with my relationship with Shantae.
Right. Yeah.
And so his confidence and his ability to bring forth to life, because you got some things too you're going to be doing with Shantae, right?
Man.
And so sometimes starting to win is dependent on your partnerships and your relationships.
All of this.
Because relationships are transactional.
Right, they are. But and recognizing, so here is the other piece about starting to win. I don't know, you know what I mean? So part of this not being scripted is, you know, we try to purposely not sketch out what we're going to talk about on purpose.
Right.
Because we don't, I do it because we don't want to be locked in. But so I'm just thinking about the partnerships piece, right? So for people who are starting something and you're looking at partnerships, understanding that you could have did this by yourself, right?
You could have did this by yourself.
Right. And I actually was thinking about doing a podcast by myself.
I was too.
I know.
I told you.
Yeah. But there's power in doing something with someone who sees the value that you can bring. You know what I mean? And takes the ease off of you, right? So now it's like,
that's good.
Man, I'm not in this by myself.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I got somebody else who can carry some of this weight.
Sure.
And giving you the opportunity to be able to sharpen yourself in a way doing something that otherwise couldn't happen.
Right.
Because even though we're doing this and like I talk for a living.
Right.
Like this is how I eat, but I'm learning and I'm getting better in the conversation about how to really take
real time.
In real time, bro.
This is real. Like it's recorded. It's recorded, but it's real time.
It's not scripted.
Like, it's not scripted.
It's not like, okay, you need to say this. Like, okay, let's go back and redo that take. Like,
well, that's why you have your notes.
Yeah,
I got my notepad on my phone. You got your notes. So like, if we're recording this and I say something or you say something, it's like, okay, bro, I got to put this in my phone. I got to write that down
right now. I don't forget.
And we're sharpening each other in real time. And hopefully for our listeners out there, we're sharpening you guys too.
Hopefully you get something from this.
Hopefully we're dropping some gems that you can use. So
yeah, shout out to We Drop Gems on Clubhouse. If you're not on Clubhouse, check it out.
Check it out.
Check it out. Yeah, so I think this whole starting to win is thinking it through. Like we got some other pieces that we're gonna, finishing strong and, how do you finish when you're in? So understanding where the end is, I think is good too, especially like for projects. Shout out to, all the entrepreneurs out here who trying to do some stuff, who trying to be better, who trying to, create stuff, products and, processes and, courses and all of that stuff, and then other folks who just trying to complete projects around the house and all of that. So this covers like wide gambits of everything, but when you're starting something, thinking about what are you going to get from finishing? Because I am a good starter. I can start some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I think the one that I'm excited about and not excited about because it's gonna, cause some transparency to happen is the finishing stuff, right? So starting stuff and finishing stuff, like, and then that in between. So, I know a lot of folks, some people are like not good at getting started, but once you get started, like, I'm good. But I think what we got to make sure that we do is don't over process the beginning. Like just start it, like begin. Like your win is to begin.
Yeah.
You want to win, begin. Like that's how you start to win. How you start to win is you begin. Look at that.
Oh, that's it.
That's magic right there. Need to write that down. Write that down.
I'll get that from you later.
I'm gonna write that down. Yeah.
Wow, Kobie.
Your win is in the beginning.
So, and I think for me, part of creating that environment for you to win and for you to start is not to go at it alone. And we talked about that, because if this podcast was done in isolation, not saying it would not have been successful, it still would have been successful.
It just would have looked different, right? It would have felt different. You know what I mean? I just think like when we did that first sit down with the launch, like the, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, I wrote this book called Learning Happens Through Conversations, the 5 leadership lessons for masterful living, which Craig really helped guide me through. And when we did the launch piece and I had that conversation with Craig King, when we did that, bro, it was just, I knew then, like, we got to do some more of this.
Yeah.
Because it just felt so right. Like, it just felt like we should be doing this.
Yeah.
Like, we should be talking about stuff together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we had to think about, like, well, what does that look like? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Because there are projects that, like you said, I'm a good starter too. You think you're a good starter? I'm a good starter too now. Don't think you by yourself. I can start something.
You know what I'm saying?
And so it was amazing how I always admired you from afar with your children's books and knowing that that's something I want to do. And I'm going to put pressure on myself right now by saying,
I'll put some pressure on you.
I have a children's book that I started.
It's coming.
Like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's sitting.
2021.
I just need to finish it. It's coming out in 2021. I'm telling you, I have to do it now.
I'm going to make you do
it.
Yeah.
And so I think this friendship, partnership is providing me, even though I started something that may have been years ago, I'm going to win because of this partnership.
Oh, yeah.
Because of this synergy that I have. And that's not only blessing you and I, but it's going to bless the other people we're connected to.
Oh, yeah.
Because the information I learn from you and whatever you learn from me, you're going to share that with somebody else. And so, and I remember the conversation we had when we talked about this partnership before we even thought about podcasts. I was sitting in my front room in my house, and you were just saying there was a level of comfort with the book process because I didn't want anything.
Yeah, like that was, and so this is the other thing, y'all. I didn't listen to this, y'all. You need people that you're connected to who don't want anything else but just to see you win. Like, that is so important. Like, they're not thinking about what they're gonna get out of it. They're not thinking about, are they gonna be thanked for it? You know what I mean? Is this person gonna be appreciative? Or like they're not thinking about none. They just like, bruh, I see what you're trying to do.
That's right.
Like, and I understand, like, you gotta get this done. And you know what I mean? Like the amount of responsibility, that's what I'm gonna call it. The amount of responsibility I felt that was weighing on me about getting that out of me was a pressure I had never felt before, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It was a weight. Like, it was a weight. And we talked about how timing sometimes is important, like the pressure. Yeah. Like, so we talked about how if I had to do it in my time, I probably wouldn't have did it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I probably wouldn't have did it because I would have read it through it and I'd have been like, oh, no, this is not, I don't really want to,
So it was in those 7 days, and we haven't touched on this yet on any other episode, but it was important for me to be available.
Right.
And so in that situation, we both have families. We're both married. I told my wife what was going on. She was like, all right, you do what you got to do. So at 11:30 at night, if Kobie's calling, I'm picking up. Like, bro, read this chapter.
I need you to read this right now.
Or don't let me walk off this cliff.
Yeah, for real. Real talk.
Yeah.
That.
So when and so just applying that for our listeners, when they're thinking about the things that they're going through, the projects that they have started, whether it looks differently for different people. So for us, it was that relationship that didn't require anything other than me supporting you, right? I didn't want anything. I didn't ask for anything. That wasn't anything that was important. But for you, it may look different. It may be you having a coach. It may be you bouncing your ideas off of somebody that you don't even know. Shout out to Clubhouse. That's Clubhouse app.
Right, absolutely.
You go check that out. But and sometimes it requires that push. So you have to figure out, what does that support look like for you? Now, if you have that person that can provide that support without you, telling them exactly what you need, that's great. And I think that's what I provided for you in that situation. You didn't have to, all right, Craig, this is what I need you to do, X, Y, and Z. I just knew what you needed.
Right.
And I just gave it to you. And you trusted that.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? So having people that you can trust, who are about your interest.
Sure.
Like that is an important piece. Like that's super strong. So having this conversation made me think that I wrote down a topic of another one which is who's in your circle.
That's a good one.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that one. And who should be in your circle? Like that's who's in your circle now, who should be there. We're gonna have to do that. But I think that knowing what somebody needs and being able to offer that freely, because it's going to help them start, it's going to help them get through, and it's going to help them finish, is it's a character trait, right? I almost say it's skill, but it's not a skill. Like it is. It's a character trait. It's a character trait. It's not a skill. It's
that's who I am.
Who you are, right?
Like servant leader. That is me to my core.
Yeah, it's part of who you are, and so you need those people on your team.
Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Are we saying that if you have a certain skill set or expertise, that you should not be compensated for? This look right here, Kobie. Believe us.
That's not what we're saying.
We are not saying get paid
for your talent, and your skills.
Absolutely. I want to make sure that's clear. I want you to think.
Grab your bag. You know what I'm saying? Value what you offer. You know what I'm saying, to the planet, and monetize.
What's our
3 words? Right. This is what we're focusing on in 2021. Okay. Join along with us.
Join us.
Right. Application. Right. Execution. Monetization. Like that is what we're after. So
I wanted to make sure I said that.
Yeah.
But going back to this relationship, it was important in that moment, even though I felt like I know that I offered something, or I knew I offered something of value to you. But for me, in that moment, it had nothing to do with, Kobie's gonna have to break me off a couple. That never even crossed my mind.
Like I need to get paid for this.
Yeah, but it was an assignment that I needed to have, and like you said, it was a character trait, and it tied directly into what I needed to do.
And so, here we go. Hold on.
All right.
Let me not lose it.
Don't lose it.
Hold on. Bring it back. Come back.
I'm gonna take a sip of water.
Come back.
Come on.
Come back.
Don't lose it.
Come back.
See, if we had a script, you wouldn't have to do this. But we don't have a script.
This is the power and the magic of not having a script. What I was gonna say. Yes.
All right. I knew it was coming.
So, right. So watch this. So here's the power of that stuff happening. Sure. And is some stuff was happening for you because you stepped up. Like in you and for you that I was not even aware of, right? When you was like, bruh, like I just need to tell you, like this, watching you go through this process, you know what I'm saying, has like moved and shaped me. And that's the thing, like we think what we go through is for us. And it is.
Yeah.
But it isn't.
Right.
Right? So what I say is that the journey that you're on is for you, but it's for others too.
Yeah.
And I think that that you gotta recognize, and that's why it's important to enroll people as you're starting something, but knowing who you put in for that start, because not everybody is ready to hear what you're trying to begin.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because of like jealousy, like ego,
sure.
all of that stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
but just think about, go to the quality of conversations and interactions we had prior from 2011 to this year for you to trust me, because it wasn't about the amount of time that we spent together, whether it was on the phone call or seeing each other at a function or whatever. It was like, this dude Craig
is a good dude.
Is a good dude,
right?
And and I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back.
No, but it's important.
It's important to realize that. So when for our listeners and viewers out there, when you are thinking about who you're entrusting your start vision with,
right?
When you're starting out, it's important to look at that quality,
the character of the
person,
because the character of the person matters. Like, and I think that, like, we have some common bonds, like, we're fraternity brothers, which mattered. Like, you know what I mean? We got like backgrounds in education, you know what I'm saying? Like, but
your wife knows me.
Yeah.
She knows the work that I've done.
But watching and just knowing who you were, you know what I mean? Like, just watching, like, part of that was just like, Craig is he's my bro, but he's just a good dude. Like, he's solid. Like, and like, just watching you from afar, how you operate with things, like, knowing how you did things. It was like on that Monday call, I was like, when you said something,
I don't even remember what I said.
I don't even remember what you said either. I was just like, I can trust him with this. Like, I can trust him. Like, there is not, right? Because, so here's the thing. I could trust you with it, but also know that you were going to help hold me accountable to it. You know what I mean? That you weren't going to look at it as, bro, that's too big. You know what I'm saying? Like you wrote a book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
I took my time.
Right.
I took my time, Kobie, writing my book. You, on the other hand,
bro, I did not have a few years. Luxury. I did not have that luxury. So, like, it was you, and it was two other dudes. You know what I'm saying? It was you, my dude Antoine Benjamin, and my other dude Corey Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a good group of dudes who I may not even talk to y'all every day, every other day, once a month. It may not, but when y'all move in a certain way that, you know what I'm saying, you big thinkers, but more importantly, you know how I move.
Yeah. So
I didn't share this with everybody, you know what I'm saying, in the process.
You couldn't.
I couldn't. You know what I mean?
Because of the magnitude
in
of
the
it.
space that I was in at the time.
Which I didn't know.
You're right.
And I wasn't supposed to know.
You weren't, right, yeah. So you have to go back and
you got to look at
the other podcasts. We only got 4 minutes.
Look at
13 minutes, so we don't have time to go into that. But I needed somebody who was going to light the fire, who was going to champion the vision, like
champion. I'm sorry. One of Kobie's songs, y'all. Check it out.
Check it out on iTunes. Kobie the Wiz, champion. Type it in. But yeah, it was I needed some people who were going to be like, bro, you got this. And you need people who are going to be like, who not going to be like, bro, oh man.
7 days, nah. Because guess what?
Oh no,
guess
bruh.
what? You were already telling yourself that the first couple days.
I was looking for somebody to be like, bruh, tap out. Quick.
You wanted somebody to confirm that.
I needed it. I was like, hey, yeah, because
So when you starting to win, who you have that knows that vision, that knows that product that you're going to create, knows that conference you want to plan, that book you want to write, that circle needs to be very small and intentional.
Mm-hmm.
An intentional circle.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I was just thankful because, it was like, bro, all right, let's get it done. And like, you gave me some direction and like, you just really affirmed me, bro, in a way that I didn't even recognize that. And you weren't even trying to, like, that was like the strong part. Like, you weren't even trying to, and like the shape, the direction, you was like, so, how did you get here? Because when I called you on day 3, bro, I didn't have nothing. I had an outline, which is what I thought. Nothing. And when you was like, yeah, man, I remember when I met you, and to see, like I just, like I met you and you was like super confident, and I was wondering like, who is this dude? And you was just talking about stuff, and you started asking me some questions, and from there I was able to get started.
There you go.
I was able to get started, and that literally framed the direction of the book, because I was able to get the chapter 1 done that day, and it was a relief. But I knew that I had 5 chapters to write. You know what I'm saying? So,
I think now that we have that introduction with 10 minutes left.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah. It's conversation. You think about those conversations you have with people. Sometimes you look up, it's 4 hours later. When we met prior to starting, when we just wanted to talk about the topics, we ended up talking 4 hours.
4 hours.
20 minutes was about our topics, maybe. The rest of it was just like,
wow.
Yeah,
right?
It was crazy.
Like the majority was like, okay, yeah.
So if you could talk directly to the viewer, to the listener. Now, I know we talked about the people. So what is something that they can take and run with? I know we talked about having the people there is intentional. I want you to do it and I'll do it. What is one thing or 2 things that they need to know?
When they're starting.
So, talk to the people.
So when you starting some stuff, like, it's important that you recognize that it's for you to do. Like, the stuff that's given to you, that's like spoken to you, that's whispered to you, that comes into your spirit and your mind, like, it's for you to do. And don't talk yourself out of it, because what we'll have a tendency to do is hear something. And feel something like, I'm supposed to do that. And they'd be like, well, nah, not really. And I'm a firm believer that when the universe speaks some stuff to you, like, if you don't move on it, somebody else will. Somebody else will. Because at the end of the day, God, Jehovah, Yahweh, you know what I'm saying? Whoever you call the all in all, the owner of all things, is trying to get some stuff done on the planet. And it's bigger than you.
And there are multiple vessels that can be used.
And you are a vessel, right? And so understanding and recognizing that you are a vessel, but also at the same time, like, there's some stuff like that has to come through you. Like, there's some stuff that other people will pick up in their spirit, but there's some stuff that is for you to do.
Yeah.
Like, and can't nobody else do it. And you have to do it. And so whoever is out there, you hearing this at this time, and you're like, why does this thing keep nagging me? You know what I mean? Like, I keep hearing that I'm supposed to do this specific thing, or I'm supposed to start this specific, or I'm supposed to even talk to this specific person and tell them something. Like, why is it just keeps on me? Because it's for you to do. It ain't for nobody else to do, and it's for you. So whatever that is, like, go do that thing. Because you take the test till you pass. And the reason the same stuff keeps showing up is because you haven't passed the test. Like, so pass the test, go do that thing Start that thing so you can win.
That's good. That's good, Kobie. And for me, it's tied directly to what you were just talking about. That experience, because more than likely, that thing that you need to start is tied to
something else.
Something else.
Bigger than you.
And sometimes it's tied to an experience, a pain, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's just one thing. It's multiple things. And so for me being diagnosed with cancer, that led me to start things tied to that experience. Now, when I was going through it, it was tough, right? When I was going through it, it was tough. But what was birthed out of that?
Because watch this. You ready? Ooh, I felt that. Because pain brings out purpose.
Pain brings out
purpose, right?
And so Craig Q. King Celebration of Life Gala would not have happened without that.
That's right.
My influence at Camp Chemo for 20 plus years would not have happened.
Would not have happened.
Me mentoring countless children and families would not have happened. And God had that specifically for me.
So what is the pain that you're going through right now?
That is requiring you to start something.
That is screaming for purpose to come out of it.
What is it?
What is it? What is that thing? What is that thing that you are struggling with, that you fight with, that's supposed to bring about some purpose? Start that. Start that, process that, and get into action around it. Because what we go through, like I always say, you'll hear it, as you listen to these, you're going to hear this over and over. What we go through is not just for us, but it's for others too.
Absolutely.
And so how we share that in our stories, it's powerful, man. That is really what life is about, is getting into life with other people and giving them some power to be able to navigate this thing called life with some success.
Yeah.
And that's what this thing is really about. So when you get ready to start something, man, just recognize that it's not going to be easy. It's going to take time.
And it's twofold. It's you looking at it from that perspective of what I need to have to start, but also how can I be a source for someone else to start what they need to start? So it's twofold. You have some things you want to accomplish, but you also need to be open, that vessel, and open
to say who's starting something that I know that I can help with, that I got a skill and talent, you know what I'm saying, or that I can help with, and not necessarily look at for anything in return.
That's right, man.
Oh yeah. So call some of your friends. Call a couple of your friends and be like, "What you starting? What you doing? What you
that's a good one.
What you getting into that that you think I can help with? If you're not starting something on your own,
right?
You know what I mean? And then maybe pick a couple folks. Think about something that you're doing, and think about a couple people who you can call and be like, "Man, I'm getting ready to start this thing, and I think your talent, your skill set, or just merely your presence, just your presence and your energy, will be beneficial to me."
Because it starts with a conversation.
Everything.
That's why we're here.
Everything. The learning happens through conversations. And that is how we ended up here, man. And so
and just like you said, this podcast is intentionally done with conversations that we have never had before together.
Absolutely.
And so we are hoping to provide inspiration, motivation for you, to tap what's inside of you, so you can be great.
Yeah. That's
not good.
Not good. Ooh.
You triggered. That triggered something, Kobie.
2 minutes and 40
seconds. Yeah, and we got to do our closing
and
stuff,
we are
man.
not going to get to it, but we are going to have. See, we just keep adding.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of the topics, and this is.
Write it down.
We're going to talk about it. This is going to be.
So yeah, go ahead and write that. Yeah. So guys, if you have not already, make sure you follow us on social media, on Twitter and Instagram at Craig and Kobie. Our website, craigandkobie.com. And also, check us out. Our email, craigandkobie@gmail.com. If you are interested, if you have a question about something, if you have a topic.
Yeah, be like, hey, man, I'd love for y'all to talk about this. Or if you would love to sponsor one of these episodes.
To support you.
Yeah, or you got some merch you want to shoot to us and be like, hey, I want you to talk about, I want y'all to wear this. Mm-hmm. Extra large is my size.
Extra large is my size too.
So, just shoot us out. We'll get you the address where you can shoot that. But we appreciate y'all tuning in. We hope you get something from this.
Yep.
Like I said, our goal is to help to make people better, the best version of themselves. And we understand that is through knowledge, but also we want to inspire people to have real, authentic conversations with people and understand that growth can happen, magic can happen, and it don't necessarily take a long time. So, you know what I mean?
Sometimes it's 40 minutes.
Sometimes it's 40 minutes. Sometimes it's 40 seconds.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? Sometimes it's a sentence that somebody say something to just spark something up in you that make you get up and run. You know what I mean? So just when that those words spark and bring life into you. That's right. So
yeah, man. Yeah. But this has been another impactful and essential episode of
Conversations with Craig and Kobie.
I'm Craig King.
I'm L. Kobie the Wiz.
We'll see you next time.
We out.
Conversations with Craig and Kobie.